Downtown Asheville. This is Zach, and this is Ancient Asheville Now. You notice that the English names dominate the streets of downtown Asheville. Names like Biltmore, Pack Square, Vance Monument, Patton Avenue. Street and river names reflect which wealthy families and nations colonized and controlled Asheville. Let's look over a 300-year span at the Cherokee Nation, France, Spain, England's domination of Asheville, and the United States. In 1594, explorer Hernando de Soto visited the Asheville area, but left no mark of Spain in Asheville. However, Spain occupied New Mexico, California, Texas, and Florida. And the English occupied the East Coast. In 1712, the Carolinas were divided into North Carolina and South Carolina. Before the arrival of the Europeans, though, the land where Asheville now exists was within the boundaries of the Cherokee Nation. And in 1664, England establishes colonies of Virginia, New Jersey, New York, New England, and New Scotland. Leaving the colony of New France and the indigenous peoples' nations to occupy the Mississippi Valley from Canada all the way down to Louisiana, the middle of the United States. In the colony of North Carolina, the county seat was named Morristown in 1793, and that's a French name. Then Morristown was incorporated by England and renamed Asheville after North Carolina Governor Samuel Ashe. Now, Asheville was in the territory known as New France. That's right. That's where all the French names come on, like the French Broad River and Carrier Park and so on. And all the indigenous Aboriginal nations like Cherokee, Catawba, Swannanoa River, and Hominy Creek came from the indigenous Aboriginal nations. So French names like Morristown got pushed out by the British Empire and names changed to English names, like Asheville. So why is this important? Because these are the names of families and people who shaped Asheville, who controlled Asheville, who mined Asheville, and controlled the wealth and controlled the people of Asheville and shaped it and created the landscape that you see now. You see, before the European immigrants came here and mined and colonized Asheville, who was here were the Aboriginals. Now, we call these Aboriginals now blacks. We call them African Americans. And these are all very names that were legally put on these Aboriginal people. They were dark-colored skinned, and they were removed from this land and from these resources, and they were enslaved. And the same Europeans that did this are doing it now, still today. And they're doing it to all American citizens now. We are all being mined, and in a sort of slave type culture. We just all have different levels of privileges. So these names that you see here are the immigrated families from the English Empire. But there really is just 1%, the 1%, and that's the core of the central banking system. That's the Rothschild family, and that's what's still controlling Asheville now and all of America, really. So we'll be peeling these layers off, peeling these layers of time. What we're looking at here, that we when we look at our landscape, especially here in Asheville, is this patriarchal culture that's been mining and creating civilization. And civilization is just a mining mechanism to mine people and resources for that industrial predator, that industrial 1%. And so we want to pull the layers off of this patriarchal culture, which is the last few thousand years. And what we're going to find is a matriarchal culture here, a natural culture that's harmonized with nature. And there would be underneath this concrete, underneath this Vance monument that you're looking right here, and this street, and these buildings, and these banks. And that's what we are going to try to get to here in this series. We want to get to the ancient Asheville. And we want to get to the ancient Asheville now. But we need to look underneath this concrete and these monuments and these buildings and see who we are, and who and what this land, what this ancient world was like. And hopefully we'll do that. And this is Ancient Asheville Now, and this is Zach.